Hi everyone, Roxanne here from FinanceRocks.com. I am really excited today to introduce my friend Dani. Dani, welcome to the channel.
Hi, thank you.
Do you want to give a little introduction to you as well as Bucks and Dough and Adventure on Purpose?
I run a blog called Bucks and Dough, where we talk all about money, finances, investing, budgeting, mindset, and also like being adventurous along the way, because we don't need to just be like so goal orientated all the time without taking a break from everyday life. We do a podcast with our friends Kel and Lee called Adventure on Purpose. So it's two couples talking, like we talk through couples, we talk through marriage, we talk through money, mindset, but mostly we talk about like giving yourself a break from normal life and like the grind and how that actually makes you more productive. So yeah, that's Adventure on Purpose.
I love it. I love it. You're the perfect person to have on to talk about money mindset. So let's go ahead and get into it.
Nice. So I have a few questions and we're both gonna kind of answer them. So my first one is kind of tricky, but kind of not. How do you value money?
Yeah, this is a good question because I think everyone values it differently, right? And it's changed over time, I've noticed. When I was younger, I really highly valued it, like it was my main priority. I didn't want to live a life full of financial stress and just worrying about money all the time and where money was going to come from. So really, it's been that has driven me to. I actually went to school for accounting, worked as a financial analyst because I'm passionate about the field, and now I feel like I can change how I value it compared to the other areas of my life each year. So now, like, I focused on finance and got that under control. And now I'll have like a year where I focus on like health and fitness. And then like this year, it's like community and like social interaction kind of thing. So it's still, they're all important, right? So we have to find ways to address like every area of our life and always be improving.
Nice.
Yeah.
Should I answer mine too?
I'm curious. I did not read any of the replies that you typed up in there, so I'm interested to hear what you think about it.
So I said it's like a tool for me to like my future kids will be able to grow up like being around us talking about money and like not being scared like we don't have enough, or like even having like my kids like asking us about like what do you like normal conversations of our own money that are just not around tables. I feel like is what we want to have in our house, is like conversations about that and the openness about that, because that's how I grew up. And I didn't realize it then, but now I'm like, holy crap, I like actually learned a lot by just like listening about like my parents talking about that stuff. I just want to I've always had a good relationship with money. I've always been a saver. So that's what I want to instill in other people and like my kids. So
Yeah.
I value it as a tool of not being stressed and not worrying about how I'm going to pay for stuff.
Yeah, not being stressed. That's really, to summarize, that summarizes me quite well. I would say like security is the role that it plays for me. And then, kind of once security is taken care of, then I found that it's more about like choice and having options to do things I want to do. Even like not being stuck in a job I don't like, or, that kind of thing.
Right. Like having enough that you don't have to, you can do what you want when you kind of want to.
Yeah. And I don't know what you think about this, but I think that it actually takes a lot less effort, a lot less money to satisfy that than people think. Like when I hit a $10,000 emergency fund, I was like, I felt so good about it, even though I had debt and was paying off debt at the time. Like I felt the sense of security that I was after.
Yeah, for sure. What is one thing that you would spend money on and not like feel bad or, like regret it?
Yeah, this is such a cliche answer, but I love travel. I really highly value adventure and exploration. I think that's why I get along with you so well. I think you value those things as well.
Yes.
So, just enjoying like getting to explore different cultures and food. Like I grew up in a little town here in Montana, and so like very homogenous. And so I'm very interested like how other people live and what they're interested in, how things work in different countries. So I really
Yeah.
enjoy that. Been to China and Japan, Caribbean a little bit. We were gonna do Europe this year, but then COVID happened, so
Right. I
rescheduled
thought
all
you were
that.
going to go to Europe, but I was wondering
Yeah,
that got canceled or
yeah,
postponed or something. Yeah.
we have canceled. So.
The one thing I chose was like workout shoes and like hiking shoes because I wear those types of things all day long, every day. So it's like I allow myself to spend quite a bit of money on those two things because it's like I I need comfortable shoes.
Yeah,
So that's
oh,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
I was just gonna say that's my one thing where I'm like, I'm gonna just do that.
Yeah, I
And it's like go along with traveling. I can wear my shoes traveling.
um, I think that's a really good question to ask because I think people assume that like frugal people just don't spend on anything. So I really like to talk about that because, then people can hear, oh, it's okay to have a few things that I really like to spend money on. It's kind of like what Paula Pant, like, I can afford anything but not everything. So just
Yeah.
choosing a little bit more
Mhm.
carefully about what you are interested in and what you want to value.
I feel like when we first started our journey, like cut out so many things. And then we almost felt bad about like spending on the things we actually like made us happy. So that was like too extreme. So now we've like loosened up and it's like we can spend on things that make us happy, you know?
I love talking to other money people because it's like
I
no one
know.
it's so hard to find people that relate to I feel a lot of the time it's hard to relate to people and for people to relate to me, but like that resonated with me so much. Like I did
Yeah.
that exact same thing, like feeling guilt about spending any money on anything that wasn't a necessity. And that's not a healthy money mindset to have either. You should be
Right.
able to spend money on things that you want. That's part of it. You also be responsible, but
Right.
yeah.
But let yourself enjoy life on this journey of financial freedom and everything. So I have another question about has your money mindset changed like with coronavirus and the stock market up and down and interest rates so crazy and things closing?
I think, yeah, a little bit. It definitely has reminded me how important it is to have an emergency fund and how grateful I am that we have really grown like the difference between our income and expenses to the point where like I quit working in March. March 6th was when I quit my job to work on Finance Rocks full time for a while. And so, all the coronavirus stuff happened right after that. And I was just thinking like, oh, how lucky are we that, we can live off my husband's income, still be saving money and, not have to experience the stress that so many other people were.
Yeah.
And
Um,
how has it affected you? I mean, you guys are planning a wedding during it too, so that
yeah.
probably.
Um, that was not bad because we actually saved money on our wedding because we had to cut down, about half of our or more of our guest list. But to me, I really realized how important passive income is because it's like people were losing their jobs left and right. And it's like I knew for sure I had this set amount that was going to come in, even if it didn't cover everything. Like at least I knew I had that much coming in each month. And it also made me realize, even more so than I already knew, that I don't enjoy, like, when I meet with friends, I would rather go for a walk or a bike than like meet them for drinks. Because it's like we couldn't even go out for a drink because things weren't open. So it really made me realize that what actually makes me the most happy is just meeting friends like outside or at our house or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how mine shifted.
Yeah. So I did just finally finish reading Quit Like a Millionaire.
Oh yeah.
And it's, yeah, so my like gut reaction was like emergency funds and like the security of, having like a good financial spot. And your answer is investing, because she talks about like the or income, because she talks about like the three types of like finance mindsets, right? Like the if your go-to answer is cutting spending, if your go-to answer is increasing income, or if your go-to answer is investing. Those are kind of the three big ones. So that's interesting now that you just brought that up, that income was your like takeaway.
Yeah. Okay, so my next question is, how did or still do you navigate like being on a similar money mindset with your husband?
This is a hard one.
I know.
I think it's hard for a lot of people. My husband's money mindset is very different from mine. He grew up pretty comfortable, kind of middle class life, and so like he's a really good abundance mindset, and he happens to be pretty frugal, but also just kind of laid back about it all. And so to literally marry that with my anxious, anxiety-ridden, cut everything, worry about scarcity all the time kind of mindset, we've had some interesting conversations. But I think that it's important to share when you're communicating, like both the numbers and the money side of things, and also like the emotion. Some of the even like how much to keep in an emergency fund. We've had some discussions where I like even talking about it, like I just get all like choked up, and tread lightly with your spouse, because different people, it can be really painful, right? They're past the money.
Yeah.
And for a long time I was just like spitting numbers at him, like this is the best, like this is how you optimize it, and let's do a budget, and kind of all that stuff. And then it wasn't until I really like shared with him why it's important to me, and kind of got like emotional about it, because it's an emotional topic. So like everyone takes in communication differently, so make sure you're communicating with them in the way they understand.
Yeah.
What about you? How you guys are newly married, so.
Yes, we are. But so we've been talking about money since like 10 months into our relationship, I feel like. But it was hard because I grew up like talking about money around the table, and his family was like, we don't talk about this. Like, we're fine, like, but we're not going to talk about it. Like, he never was like he never worried about money. Like, his family just, like, they never talked about it. So, like, that was total different backgrounds. And I didn't know, like, how to bring it up, actually. Like, how much, debt do you have? How much do you make? Like, those were really weird questions for me to, like, ask. And I knew he had, like, a nice truck and a four-wheeler. But, like, my parents would always, like, either put a lot of money down on those payments or like buy cash, where like I didn't even think that you could get a loan on a four-wheeler type deal. So that was really like, we have to like figure out how we're gonna like make that work, because that was just mind-blowing to me that you can get all these loans as a 24-year-old or whatever. So that was kind of like fun though, actually, because it was like we got to figure that out on our own, like how much we want in a checking account and how we're going to get out of debt for all these things. So but it's still like day to day we talk about money a lot, I feel like. And sometimes it's almost too much, I think. Like, so we're trying to find a balance of like, okay, let's have a different conversation than like business and money. So it's still like a struggle to like find a balance. But I think we're getting, now that we're on the same bank accounts and stuff too, like that's just been like nice.
Yeah.
So it's communication is really key, but it's
Yeah.
hard to start those conversations. But I think that each in my opinion, like each side like secretly wants to ask those questions, but it's like they don't know how to bring it up. So just start by like asking about, do they budget, or what they think of, I don't know. So it's like you just got to start conversation.
Oh, Dani, that one, I'm guilty. I'm guilty of that big time. We didn't have the money talk until we had been together for like, oh gosh, like 3 years, and we're living together, and we're like, it was like right before we got engaged, and then but you know, you can kind of tell some things though. Like I knew he was responsible and paid bills on time, and you know, I didn't think he had a lot of debt or anything, which he didn't. But it is good to just have that conversation. But it's really hard. It was difficult. Has he said that it's been really hard for him to open up about it, or just you being so open about it? Was it just kind of like a light switch, like, oh, it's okay to talk about it?
Yeah, I think more of that. Like, it was hard for him to get used to, I think, like having those conversations. And it still is like weird because with his family still, we don't talk about any of that. But like with my family, we do. Like now he talks with my family more about that than he ever will with his family.
Oh.
So I think that's also helped, is like someone he looks up to, being able to talk to them, like my parents and stuff. So yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I should say I talk about money so much that we have a household rule now where we reserve financial talk for our Sunday household meeting.
Nice.
Which sometimes I still break the rules and be like, hey, what do you think about this? And sometimes we'll do weird stuff. Like we spent 2 hours on, oh gosh, last night actually, we spent 2 hours. He was reading me the history of Social Security. So I definitely have brought him into the dark side quite a bit on the money front, but I still try to respect that he doesn't think about it all the time like I do, and so trying to reserve those for like a particular time of the week.
Nice. And do you allow yourself a set amount of time on that Sunday? Or no?
Well, sometimes we'll have stuff scheduled that day, so there's kind of natural like. And plus we get hungry, so we'll get coffee, and then by the time we're hungry, then we're like, okay, we should probably just pay the bills that we need to pay and push the rest of it till next week is what we do.
That's funny. Oh man.
Do you guys do like a regular like meeting like that, like, or is it just kind of like dinner time, you talk about it, or?
No, there's not like a regular time, but I feel like every 2 weeks we're like, okay, let's actually like sit down and not talk about anything else. We like to like have envelopes for what we save for. So that's like a fun conversation. So we like saved so I could get a new computer one time, and then we saved so we could buy a house the time before that. And now we're saving for like a week-long vacation, because I was like, I need to save something that will like get me super excited. Like a new computer is exciting, but like saving for a vacation is like, we can do that quick.
Yeah.
You know?
Are you talking about like a cash envelope or like a digital?
We do it cash.
Cash, nice. Cool. Do you have an idea of where you're going to go for that week-long vacation?
We want to go somewhere we can drive and somewhere we can do a race, like a trail run or something like that. So we're thinking about like Tennessee, but I'll get back to you on that.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I was just curious if you already
we want to do a race. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, here's my next question, which is like hard for me to answer too. But you're a money coach.
Yeah.
So they all have like total different mindsets about money when they come to you than you're probably even used to yourself. So how do you try to like help them get more of a positive money mindset? Yeah. Or even like just doesn't even have to be your clients, just people in general.
Yeah, so I guess maybe at the start we probably should have talked about like what money mindset is. Like I just always think of it as like a collection of the thoughts that you have about money. So it might be things like here, what I'm guilty of is I can't leave this job because there's no better paying jobs available. You know, that's a thought that you have about like the economy and the market. Things like you only live once, that's like a kind of mindset that you have around money. Um, Rich people are snobs, that kind of that's a kind of thought that you have about money. So I just think of it as like all of those different thoughts combined, and then really it's identifying them because sometimes they're so subconscious. Like I catch myself doing that, like there's no better paying jobs one. I think that to myself, and then I like, I realize that it happened, and I'm like, okay. So like identifying them and like catching them when they happen and just replacing them with like a more positive thought. And you know, a lot of the times they're not even true. If they're just things that we tell ourselves. So, you know, if you're going to tell yourself something like, oh, there's no jobs available, like that's not true. There are jobs. Are they ones you want to do? Yes or no. But, you know, just saying, oh, well, there's tons of jobs available. That would be like a little reframe on it. Equally, it might be equally untrue, but at least then like it's a positive thought that you're having instead of like a negative one. What do you think about that? Do you think about like if you do you ever catch yourself with thoughts like that and then like kind of think through how you can reframe it?
Yeah. I've been trying to actually work on that a lot, not just on money, but like on mindset in general. Like when I find myself thinking like, what am I like, why am I doing this certain thing? I try to like switch it to, I'm grateful for being able to do this or, you know, something like that. But I also think like what you said, but like some people also say like, I'm not qualified for this job, where it's like, you might not on the job qualifications, but your personality or your work ethic might be better than someone that actually has like the 6-year degree or whatever.
Yeah.
So, and it's like my thoughts on money mindset is it's like if you look at money as like, oh, the rich are getting richer and the poor are just, you know, getting poorer, it's like that's going to keep you wherever you're at. It's not going to help you grow at all. So, yeah, that's kind of what I think about it.
Yeah, yeah, that's good. I mean, you kind of brought up like identifying whether or not it's a helpful thought or not.
Right.
Um, yeah, that's a good point too. Like, is this thought that I'm having helping me get closer to my money goals or not? Um, and yeah, jobs, people, oh man, I've coached a few clients on like career stuff and resumes and applying for jobs, and people lack confidence when it comes to like the qualifications and I'm like, you're a perfect fit for this job. Like you are like hardworking, you're smart, you have, you know, even people will have the degree in the field and still are like, oh, I'm not qualified. And I'm just like, oh, you
And
gotta have more
sometimes,
confidence.
yeah, and sometimes I wonder like someone made that job qualification list, like were they just writing those down because they think that that's the best option, but you know, like someone obviously made that job uh application or whatever. So it's just like weird to think about. I don't
Yeah.
know. But yeah, do you find it hard to like help people switch their mindset?
You know, sometimes people, it's weird. If someone is highly motivated to like pay off debt and save money, they just do it. They make it happen. People that are kind of like halfway in, those are the people that are really hard to catch, like to get them to catch that mindset and shift it. And you know, it's understandable. It's hard to change your mindset because like those thoughts are habitual a lot of the times. Like you think over and over again, like I like oh gosh, I'm a garbage person. Like of course I still have debt. Like, I'm just not responsible. And, if you have that thought enough, then you just instinctually think it. And it's really hard to break the cycle sometimes of what you think.
Mhm. What I kind of thought about when I was trying to think of something for this question is like, it's hard for me to even listen to people with a negative mindset. So when I am around people like that, I almost just shut down myself and don't give my feedback, like, because I just don't think that they are ready to hear what I have to say. So then I feel like I'm like preaching at them. So I almost just like shut down and just listen to what they have to say. And then it's like, after I leave, I'm always like, why didn't I just say, like, I don't know, like, try to shift your mindset when you think those things. But I need to work on that because I just shut down and I don't say what I know. So
I am the opposite of that. I don't know if
really,
it's like the older sister in me, but I'm just like, hey, what are you doing? Stop that.
yeah.
Oh gosh. Yeah, just I don't know. I'm very bossy, so it comes now. I need to be a little bit more like, step back, make sure that you're understanding like what the person is, talking about and why it's difficult. But yeah, I
And
definitely
I feel like if you say something to one person, they might take that home and like use that in a very positive way. But the next person, if you say the exact same thing, they might be like, oh, Roxanne thinks I'm terrible with, whatever,
yeah,
So
it's
it's
hard
like
to
you have
not
to
come
read.
off, yeah, as
You have to
judgmental
read
or
the
harsh.
person too.
Yeah. And I
So,
think that there's lots of times where it is good to kind of just sit back and like just let people get it off their chest, right? And just
hmm
say what they need to say. So I'm not, yeah, I think that there's a time for each.
right.
I wish I was a little bit more in the camp of, let people say what they need to say and, you know.
We need to just mix our ways.
Yeah. Any advice for me on how to cool it?
Nope, because I don't know.
Yeah.
Just sit there. No, I'm just kidding. I
Yeah.
think that you can actually like have the confidence to say like, because you've been through it. Like you were probably in their shoes at one time. So it's like you know what they're thinking in their head probably.
It
So if
depends.
someone,
Yeah.
yeah. So I think it's good that you can like tell people stuff because I need to work on that. Uh,
Oh,
but just having conversations about money too for some of my friends and stuff is awkward for them, where it's like a normal conversation for me. So finding like, yeah, it's kind of crazy.
has that been a struggle for you with any of your friends? Because so you haven't worked for anybody since you were here, right? Like Sims?
Yeah, I have not had like I've been my own boss now since I moved back here. So um yeah, and that's also really weird because most of my friends like have a 9 to 5. They some of them love it, some of them don't. So that's like I've been finding friends here now that are entrepreneurs, which is like nice to have a group of people that like understand that if you don't work hard, you literally don't make an income or,
Hmm.
So I've been trying to surround myself with people with the same type of mindset in business, over money.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's really hard when friends don't like support kind of what you're doing or even understand why you
yeah.
want to. Like, oh man, my brothers like used to give me such a hard time about being frugal. Like we would be in the store and I'd be looking at the price per ounce and they're like, "What are you doing? Why are you doing?" And I'm like, "Oh, if this one's cheaper, why would you pay more for it's like a lot of the time the same thing." So, yeah,
Yep, I
it's
know.
hard. Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah, so we're just trying to help people
Yeah.
with their money backgrounds and whatever they need.
Yeah, it's really cool to like you guys have the blog too,
Mhm.
getting to just talk about it and say the things that you think about money, I think is helpful to people. Because like you said, it's so taboo, not everyone talks about it. So hearing those thoughts, I think that's a good thing.
Right. Even if people don't like act on everything, I feel like they'll get at least one thing out of what we say.
Yeah. So I did want to ask you a couple questions too.
Hmm.
So which financial identities do you resonate with most? And how has that kind of changed over your life?
Yeah. So frugal, saver, and investor is what I kind of thought. And because even growing up, I like my first job was like mowing my grandma's yard and like trimming her garden and vacuuming her house and stuff. And she would like, pay me decently good money for like mowing her yard. But I would like, and she would always say, go buy something, whatever, go, whatever. And I would just put it under my bed. And like when I got like a few stacks of like 20s, I would like set it out on my bed like in $100 stacks. And then my parents like gave me like $20, to go to the fair or whatever. And it's like they knew that I had this money under my bed, but they still sometimes would give me like $20. But like I could have went and grabbed my own. So I've always been like saver, and I've never needed nice like clothes or like that's just not who I am. And so I have always been a saver and like you said, buy the cheaper shampoo and the great value cheese and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
I
Um,
mean, it's a great value. It says it right in the name.
um, that's let's see what I wrote. Yeah, that's it. And investor, because that's like another question we have coming up too, but I'll explain more later on that.
Yeah. I am a lot of those too. Like I think of like frugal for sure, always. I went through a phase right after I graduated school where I would have considered myself to be like a workaholic. Basically, all I did was work and then go home. And I had a long commute at the time too, since that was when we lived on the farm. So, like an hour in, work all day, an hour home, like, and that it was helpful to me for a phase. And then I saw like my boss like really burnt out hard, and so then I really wanted to kind of rein that in, and went a little too far the other way. But yeah, like not fancy. Independent is one that I really is important to me too.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, so you mentioned investing, and it's been very obvious to me ever since I met you that like you seem like a natural investor.
Yeah.
So I was wondering, like, did it take you time to get comfortable with that? Like, did I just meet you a ways into that, or did it always like kind of come naturally? Did you ever have any like whoa moments with
Yeah.
investing where you're like felt uncomfortable?
So you met me like in my prime of like, I'm gonna learn investing. So that has not how I've always been. But so my parents like started an investment account for me like when I didn't even know what investing was. And so they would show me like my portfolio and I would be like, sweet, what is that even like? What is that? And so then I went through college and I like didn't even know or care about that stuff. And then I was like working this job making $11.50 an hour. And I was like, I didn't like it. And then I went home, I think, one weekend and like I was like, I actually want to know what this portfolio is. So then I like sat down with my dad and like I was realizing that I was like making dividends while I was sleeping, or losing money as well too sometimes. But um, then I was like, wow, this is like a whole different, like, I don't even know what this is. So then I started like talking with my brother more about stuff and my dad, because they love that stuff too. And then my brother got into rental houses, investing in rental houses. And so then I was like, what is that all about? And that's how, like, it's my brother and my dad that I've been around that are like teaching me these things. And then when I was in Bozeman, I actually took my own like investing class, probably right when I met you. And that's when I was like, actually felt like I was independent in my investing world, like not just asking my dad, like, what should I do? I was asking like someone else. But so that was like my aha moment, like you can actually make money by not really doing that much. And then during coronavirus, I like, lost a decent amount of money. So that was kind of like, wow. But then I listen to books and podcasts, and it's like they always say that the stock market will come back up, if not better than it was before. And so now it's like it is coming back up. So like this is my first like crash moment of like, I just lost some money, but I hope it comes back. And it is. So that's kind of and like I automatically invest each month. So like that's an automatic withdrawal that I don't even have to worry about. And it's just like I have it budgeted in and I know it's going there. So now my risk level on my portfolio is pretty high because I'm like young and I know I'll be working and investing for a while, but I think it'll shift,
Yeah, rebalance eventually to.
Yeah, but so to me it's fun.
It makes me so happy, women investors, because I guess I was really impressed with how comfortable you felt with it. And then like you said, you were still kind of learning, but you just seemed to like dive in and like figure it out really quickly. Yeah. Like I went 3 years without even getting like the 401k match at work because like I didn't know, like I knew about 401ks because I took finance when I was in school. Right. But for some reason, I still just thought like, to go back to the mindset, like investing's not for me, it's for rich people. I don't know anything about it. I didn't know anybody who had 401k that I could ask like how they work. And then one day, Karen at work was like, what do you mean you're not on the 401k? She was just like so strongly opposed to my strategy. And that kind of like snapped me out of it. And I was like, okay, I need to actually figure this out. And so I think that like 401k is a good way to like start. And then, like I started doing trading single stocks on like Robinhood, and that really helped me understand how investing works. And I remember like the second share that I bought, it went up like 7%. And I was like, oh my God. This is amazing. Because like I didn't even have like a high yield savings account at the time. I was like used to seeing like the 0.01 cents, like, or not 0.01 cents, 1 cent interest on my account. So then that was eye opening. And so I sold because obviously it's not going to get better than 7%. It's not true. So yeah. But yeah, no, it's nice to hear that like, even for you that it took you some time to kind of figure stuff out, and and
it's like always
it's encouraging. Always changing.
Yeah, I just like, I actually have an advisor that like I give him the money and he puts it where he thinks. So like I don't actually like pick and choose. So I still need to like dig into that avenue of it too. Yeah. I kind of like allocated where I wanted it, but he like does it. So yeah.
And real estate too. It makes sense if your dad and brother are both into it, that you have someone to go to, so that probably helped your comfort level too, right?
Big time. And it's like I can just call them if I have a question. So that's really like, for someone that doesn't have that, like try to find someone that they can talk to about it is a good tip I have.
Yeah. A Karen.
Oh, Karen.
A Karen, yeah. I was just like, oh, that story has kind of a different connotation now since that term. The name has kind of its own meaning now. And then kind of along the lines of like frugal mindsets, I remember you telling me about your couch. So I was wondering if you could just share,
Yeah.
you know, a little bit about your Bozeman couch.
Yeah. So we were renting a apartment and we like didn't have any furniture and one of my friends was moving and so she was like, "Do you guys want this?" And we were, "Yeah, we want that." So we used it for like I think a year or something. And then when we moved, I asked her like, "Do you want this back or I'm gonna try to sell it?" And she was like, "We do not want it." And I think we made like 130 or something dollars off this couch. And we just by just by listing it on like I think Facebook Marketplace. And another thing is we lived in an apartment, so like all these college kids moved out, so they would like leave like desks and stuff like outside of the dumpster. So I remember we got like a chair and a desk, and then we sold those later too for like $40 or something for the desk, and then the chair like $10. But like that is just crazy to me. People just throw stuff away that you could just put on the marketplace for, you know, sometimes they're on there for a day only and people come and get them.
Okay, so a couple things to unpack that because I love that. Like, just you know, I don't know, just like how do you be content with like stuff that other people are getting rid of? Because you know, a lot of people don't even get to that place. They just think, oh, I need a couch, and then they go and buy a couch. Like, what do
Yeah.
you think? Yeah, I'm not really sure how to phrase what I'm trying to ask. But like,
Like
kind of
how
unpack that. Like, you know, you feel content, you must have some mindset about how, oh, it's fine, this will do, that kind of thing.
yeah. I think it's like in my head, someday I want to be able to buy like a nice couch and stuff, but like right now, that is not getting me anywhere closer to like my financial goals and stuff. And like I think it's just like not worrying about other people that you think are going to judge you for stuff. Because like I could have thought like, ooh, someone's going to think that's weird that I'm using this desk from the garbage or whatever. But like secretly you're just making those stories up probably in your head. And like you think that someone's going to say something, but you're the one that's making that story up. They haven't even said that yet. So that's kind of what I think. Like, don't make up a story that's not even true.
Yeah, I love that. That's really good. Like, you know, I kind of do the same thing. And after a while, it starts to become a badge of honor, right? You're like, ha, I got this for free and paid it for, and got, you know, and then sold it for 130. Like, it feels good after a while, right? Like, you get used to it.
Yeah,
And then it's like a source of pride almost, which I know not a lot of people can relate to.
but I
Um,
can.
yeah, me too. Like I've scored some stuff for free and like, you know, I go around to garage sales and like dig through that little free bin. I love it. I'm into it.
I am too.
And then I love that you like took the last step too of like actually selling it. Because once again, people don't want to take the time to list it on, you
Right,
know, Facebook Marketplace or whatever. So in addition to like being content with, you know, like maybe not the perfect couch, but a free couch.
right.
And then also, yeah, taking the time to sell it and make some money.
It's funny too because when we bought our house here, we got 3 free couches from someone off of the marketplace. Like they put free on there. So in my head, I'm like, I'm gonna get these free couches and maybe sell them later.
Yeah.
But that's
Yeah,
funny that we did it again.
that is funny. And
I
you
did,
scaled it. You did it at
yeah,
scale this time, which is even more impressive.
went to 3.
Um,
Oh
yeah, I
man.
love that. And then, you know, it's a good habit to have, right? To be
Hmm.
looking for things and just to think through like, oh, well, is there value in this thing? Yeah, so I can probably sell it.
Yeah.
I'm bad about that. I'm bad about reselling stuff.
It is
But
kind of
yeah,
a pain sometimes
uh,
because you get like 6 messages and it's like, are any of these people real or, will they actually show up? So sometimes we've waited around for people to show up and then I feel like we just wasted like the time to message them back and the time we waited for them. But then it's like, then you do actually sell it. So it's like, the give and take of it.
Yeah. Okay, and then the last question I have for you, what is your mindset around work and side hustles? And I wanted to ask you this because I admire your work ethic. You have Dani's Nature Camp. You have bucksanddoe.com. You did your ebook. You just are always doing stuff. So kind of, what do you think about work? Like, what motivates you?
My biggest motivator is I do not want a boss. I can have a boss, but I do not want like a full-time boss. Like I would think I would be fine with like a part-time job maybe, but just a full-time thing is just not for me. So when I get like super like, what am I doing with my life? Or like, this is actually so hard to like be your own boss all the time. I just remind myself that like, I do not want to sit in an office or something from 9 to 5. And it's like, it's hard work to be an entrepreneur, but I like that. And it's like forced me to connect with people. One of my goals in August and now in September is meet with someone new once a week.
Oh.
So like having like that, if I was just at a normal job, like I wouldn't have to like think outside the box and like meet new people and like figure out ways to collaborate and whatever that looks like. And about side hustles, some of them work and some of them don't. So it's like finding like how much time should I spend on this before I like do something different or like change it a little bit is like yeah, because some of them they just like they don't work. So but yeah, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of have leaned in more on like the work side because I don't mind like being an employee. Like I kind of like not having the responsibility of making all the decisions, not all the responsibility. Like it helps me feel a little less stressed that somebody else takes that if things go wrong. And like I try to take responsibility for,
Right.
my own mistakes and stuff, but still like ultimately it's not going to be all me that's going to be the reason that this fails. So I kind of like that, and then I like having like the structure of it too. It's hard for me to motivate myself to work on like outside of what I consider to be like full-time employment. So I like the structure of it, like go and sit down. I know that I need to work because I'm held accountable to my boss. So I kind of like it. But I've always admired entrepreneurs because I think it takes a lot of courage, and I think that to do your own thing, it's hard. It takes discipline and striking out on your own.
Yeah, I was actually just talking to one of my friends that has like a full-time job, and it's like I was telling her like I can wake up on a Monday morning and literally do nothing if I want to,
Yeah.
and it's like that's hard sometimes to like get yourself motivated and like figure out what is gonna actually work and like is what I'm doing right now gonna like set me ahead in the future, or is it just me wasting time and like doing these checklist things that I think are helping. So it is like sometimes I'm like I just want to go and have someone tell me what to do all day, but then I know that will not last very long either. So
Yeah. Do you consider yourself
yeah.
to be kind of a rebellious person? Like, is that why you don't really like working for somebody?
I'm a big leader. Like I've always been a leader. Like I didn't really realize how much of I was until like college, and then I was like, yeah, I'm like I just like to lead. I don't like to follow people.
Yeah. You like making the decisions.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Mhm. So yeah.
Yeah. That's cool. Yeah. It is, yeah, it's hard for me to like force myself to do like side hustles, and even now like like you said, I could wake up on Monday and not do anything. Maybe they thought that you were bragging, but like I know what you mean now. Like, yeah, you got to motivate yourself. You got to have a system to motivate yourself, and
Yeah.
that's hard for me.
Yeah. It's hard, but it's also fun sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. It's a different kind of adventure, right? If you are like building a side hustle and you value adventure and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
that's one thing we try to like do too is adventure, because that makes us like sometimes we just work, and it's like just go outside and don't like that'll make you more productive if you go outside than for even a walk around the block sometimes. It's like go do that thing and then you'll be more productive anyway.
Yeah, people are so out of touch with like nature, that I feel like we're missing a part and not really even realizing it, that might be causing some of our like anxieties and stress and whatnot.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
feel this. Okay, so I have a theory about resourcefulness that's kind of like the same thing. Like, kind of like you should be out in nature. I think people need to spend time like being resourceful with their finances, like coming up with creative solutions to things, like instead of just like automatically raiding your emergency fund, like taking a step back and thinking about like, oh, how else could I solve this problem other than, just this? And so
Yeah.
I don't know what you think about that, but
I think that we use that and we don't even know it. Like both of us probably.
yeah.
Yeah.
People don't, yeah, I feel like people just are so busy that they maybe don't like stop to think about those things or to like use that side of yourself.
Yeah. I think also coronavirus like has made people slow down and realize like what they actually want to do or who they want to spend time with. And so it's like, we are going through a world pandemic, which is terrible, but like I feel like people are learning a lot about
Yeah.
themselves.
They said that like recreation has been on the uptick, right? Since
Yeah.
coronavirus. I own one of the stocks I own is like a outdoor realtor. Um, what is it? Retailer. And
Oh,
so
yeah.
like their stock has done really well since coronavirus started because people are out buying like, all kinds of RVs and, tent stuff. So
Right. Yeah. Like selling out of that stuff almost too.
yeah, yeah. Gym equipment too. I remembered
Hmm.
hearing that like gym equipment was like totally sold out of stores because people were trying to work out from home.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, I think that is a silver lining, right? People get when you have to go without, you kind of get back in touch with what you actually need and what actually fulfills you. Like you said, hanging out with friends, like it reinforced that that's, something that brings value to your life.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I think that's all the questions I had.
Yeah. Same here. That was good.
Everyone should check out Dani's stuff. Dani, do you want to walk us through kind of all the different things that you do?
Yeah. So my main thing is Dani's Nature Camp, which is my mission is to get kids outside and active. So I take them hiking, biking, kayaking. And so that was like, I just moved to Minnesota in October. So this was my first summer here. And I was like blown away by the amount of kids and like people I reached because you never know when you start something like what's going to actually happen. So that's why you just got to start. And then I own a company with my brother and sister-in-law and my husband, Priority Investments, is that's what we were just talking about with rental houses and storage units and stuff. So we invest in real estate. And then Bucks and Dough, that's on Instagram, we're bucks_dough because we're a husband and wife. So, and my husband's obsessed with hunting. So,
Love your name. I love your guys' channel name and your blog
yes.
name. Love it.
So that's where we talk about a lot of like budgeting, finances, also like I was talking earlier about like being adventurous on the way to like your money goals because it's like that's what lights us up and we figured people need to hear that go do stuff that like lights you up. And we just started a podcast with our friends Cal and Lee And they just had a little nugget on Tuesday. So they are a family of 3 now, called Adventure on Purpose, which is literally telling people to go outside and like, just like adventuring on purpose. So also talking about finances, mindset, like, so there's a purpose to everything and adventure along the way. So yeah, there I am.
Yeah. So bucksanddough.com, and I gotta say, I bought your guys's 208. Okay, what's the proper name of it? 208
Life challenges.
life challenges, and I love it. I need to. I got a couple weeks in, and then I ended up like doing another challenge, so I'm gonna get back into it. But you guys should go and check out the ebook. It's great. It's on Amazon, correct?
Yep.
Yeah, so really fun. There's like one financial challenge, one health challenge, and one self-development growth challenge each week.
Yep. And like a health or a fitness, and then a like nutrition type one.
Yeah, it's hard. You guys are putting me through some challenge.
It's hard.
I appreciate it. I need it. So
yeah,
that's great. All right, thank you so much, Dani.
Yeah, thank you. Have a good night.
You too.